if you're in a situation where you want to allow the people in a group to have dialogue that is rich and meaningful and to participate in the flow without taking each other down rabbit holes or interrupting that flow of conversation, it's really useful to bring hand signals into that group environment. Hand signals have been used around the world in a lot of different contexts. I'm familiar with them being used for consent-based decision-making under frameworks such as sociocracy, also in the classroom, and even in direct democracy or direct action movements such as the Occupy protests. There is no universal code about what different hand signals mean, and so I definitely advise clarifying with your group what your set of interpretations are before taking any particular gesture as a source of truth. And these are intentional, so they're not the same as reading body language. These are signs that we decide we want to send to each other non-verbally so that we don't interrupt the conversation. Now, I'm going to cover in this video 6 of the hand signals that I enjoy using in a group dialogue where we're sharing our stories, maybe learning together, and then in another video cover what are some other signals we can use, or go over a few of today's ones so that we can take decisions that make sure that no perspectives in the room are being left out. So one really awesome one to start with, and a lot of you may have seen this around, is using the raised hands. We show that we agree with someone, we support someone, maybe we have a version of that truth for ourselves as well, and that has a direct emoji equivalent of the raised hands emoji if you're not on camera. Very easy to use in all sorts of contexts, virtually and in person, and it especially is great to replace clapping because even that sound can interrupt a speaker's point of view. Another one, because we all love to get a little bit carried away when we're talking and do justice to our thought, but if you are noticing that someone is starting to take up a bit too much of the space in the room, or they're reiterating either what they have said or a point that has already come up in a conversation, with love you can offer them the idea that, hey, let's move this along. We have limited time, unfortunately. It is one of the very scarce resources that we have, and so to be able to just remind someone, okay, yep, you might want to start getting to the point now. That's really useful. It's always helpful to have a facilitator who is noticing what other people in the room are bringing in, because when you're speaking, it's not always easy to take yourself out of that thought and out to the rest of the room. If you are a little bit confused about what someone is saying, this is a very clear one that I think even the speakers will be able to pick up, which is, I'm confused. So I'm not really following, this is a bit vague. Doing that toward yourself with a bit of a twinkle, and that looks really different from out here, right? So could you clarify what you're saying for me? The 4th one is to say, I actually don't think the way we're doing this is correct. I have a point about the process, the way that we're going about this. And this one, maybe it's a little bit more abstract, so I'll give you an example. This is when someone has brought some guidance into what we're going to do. First step is we're going to talk to each other. Second step, we're going to break out on our own. And the third step, we're going to wrap up. And you think, actually, that process is missing something. I just want to interject, rather than saying in content, this is, hey, let's think about the structure and the process that we're using, the sequence of steps. The 5th one is when someone is speaking with you and you have a direct response to them, which is usually if they've gotten something a bit wrong, or they've asked a question, they're not sure about the details of everything that they're saying, and they're kind of sensing to the audience, can anyone clarify this for me? Does anyone have further information? So you can say, I have a direct point, right? Rather than I have something to say, I have something to say about what's being said right now. This is really useful. So I hope these 5 get us off to a good start. And feel free to share this with other people in your team if you think that that's going to help you be on the same page in meetings going forward.